Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I've got game 2 of this best of 3 between STAcE, who is the purple Protoss player in the top left, and MVPGalaxy, who's playing as the barcode Zerg in the lower right. The map is Antigua Shipyard. It is the GSL version of the map, so supply depots at the ram and force cross-spawn positions, which of course is awesome. So, obviously no gold expansion either. So, what can we expect from this map? Well, it's going to be pretty awesome. Game 1 was pretty winning. Ace took it very, very convincingly with that 2 Immortal Sentry push, which is just crazy good on Daybreak at the moment. It's really, really effective. Ace again looking like he's going to fast expand on this map. I mean, with the forced cross spawns, you do have enough time, in my opinion, to get this down. And actually, Ace going for a very bold fast expansion. By putting the pylon here, he's going to wall off this ramp. Usually, a much more common thing is use the Nexus as part of your wall off. So wall off pylon, forge, nexus, and then put a cannon somewhere back here. But you can need a second cannon to defend all of the mineral lines, which can be a bit of a pain. Anyway, what can we expect from Galaxy? Well, probably a 14 to 15 pull. That's the most common timing, maybe a bit earlier depending on. In game 1 he went a lot earlier with that pull, and again, judging by the amount of minerals he's got and the banked up lava, I'm guessing we're going to see actually a 13 pull yet again. So clearly that's a bit stylistic. It's a bit earlier than you would expect. It's just slightly safe. That probe getting quite a few hits, and to be honest, Galaxy, he's going to have to again get 3 bases up nice and quick. And on Antigua, it's not actually too difficult to take this third base, because defending it, you can just move down your defense point and defend your third and natural equally. It's a very, very nice area for Zerg to defend because it's very large and open, so you get nice surrounds, good arcs, and there's not many chokes. The downside, of course, though, is then taking the 4th base. As a Zerg player, it is really difficult. Where do you go? Well, you've got the choice of the center base, but then, of course, you're exposed on the high ground. You can also try and take this base over here, but then the downside is, of course, you've got a long-ish rush distance. You have to take out these rocks, but still, you've got quite a long way to go, and it's not the easiest 4th to take, which means you can get stuck on being on equal bases with the Protoss. But again, the 3rd base for the Protoss player, that can be a little bit difficult, because these rocks, if they're taken out, it suddenly becomes difficult to defend. So you see a lot of Protoss players walling off along here and putting a couple of cannons, but we'll wait and see how that plays out. Currently, both players doing pretty standard builds. It was a forge first. There goes down the Nexus. We've got the photon cannon on the way, and again, it looks like Galaxy, he's going very, very standard, getting that pool, the hatch up at around, well, it's around 20, which is possibly fractionally late, but he's got his queen up earlier from the earlier pool, and that inject does pay off. And I'll be trying to secure this base at about 4 minutes to 5 minutes. 4 minutes 20 is the ideal. Back at Ace's base, no gas yet. That says a lot. Chrono Boost going off on the Nexus. This Overlord is seeing absolutely everything that's going on. The gateway is on its way down, but no Cybercore in production yet, obviously, so no real threat, and that's why you can afford as a Zerg player to take this 3rd base relatively quickly. Just looking around, obviously no gas yet from Galaxy. In this build you don't get any gas for quite a long time, usually up to about 40 to 50 supply is before you take your first gas, and that's purely because you don't need Zergling speed to defend early on, and you need to get this base and as many drones out as quickly as possible to keep up with your Protoss opponent. Now, we do have the first 2 gas now down from Ace. He is only just now starting his Cybercore. So again, this is about a 5-minute Cybercore, which is pretty standard, but it just means you're not going to get pressure early. It's something you're very, very safe against. These Zerglings are patrolling around, though, just keeping an eye out for any pylons that may come down, because ultimately you don't want to have a pylon sitting back here and then for a cannon to follow it up and this 3rd base to get taken down, because then you'd be behind incredibly. And I mean, something like this 3rd base, it could be effectively taken down by 1 pylon and 2 cannons very, very quickly, or it'd be very cost ineffective to take it down. And for a Protoss player, well, what does that cost you? 100 minerals for the pylon and 300 for the cannons. That's what, 400 minerals, compared to losing a base for the Zerg or a lot of units. It's always going to work out well, whereas if you take it out early with just a couple of Zerglings, you don't have to worry about that threat. Now, Ace actually going for a starport here. Stargate rather. Starport, what am I on about? This isn't Terran. A Stargate on the way, and, well, this is definitely going to be an air opening. It'll be interesting to see whether he goes for Phoenix or Voidway. Phoenix can be really, really nice, because there's some dead space around here. It gives you scouting information. Voidways can't get into the natural too easily, because there isn't any dead space around, but this main base can be very, very vulnerable to getting Phoenix in, lifting a couple of drones. The Queens as well, a big target. But these Zerglings are not going to be able to get up to scouted. The Overlord isn't around to be able to scout it either. So essentially, we've got Galaxy playing blind, and it's all about whether he gets that Evo chamber up, if he gets any additional Queens. He has got a third Queen in production, but not a fourth yet. So that's something I don't necessarily like. It looks like Ace going up for the Phoenix, and the reason I don't necessarily like only getting a Queen per hatch is then your creep spread is a little slower. I think having a bonus Queen just makes you safer, and it also means that you've got that perfect creep spread, you get all the injects, you're just in a great spot. So a second Phoenix following up here. The Overlord is getting taken out, but of course this will mean the Phoenix is spotted. There goes down the Evo Chamber straight away with the Roachron and Lair. So Galaxy is going to be in a good position to defend this actually, because obviously by giving away that Phoenix so early and knowing the starport is coming out, you'll find obviously from the starport as well, you can see what's being built. You can see a Phoenix is coming in here, so that's pretty easy to do. A second Phoenix following up, killing the other Overlord. Now, losing these two Overlords is going to be a little bit irritating, but actually at the moment no more in production, so we've got more gateways coming down here, so it is going to be a gateway follow-up to these Phoenix. A third Phoenix coming in, so this is kind of to be expected. The lifts get very potent very quickly, even if you're just picking off a couple of drones. The Evo Chamber is done. Here comes down a Spore at the third. That is going to help massively, but for the moment these Phoenix just Overlord hunting. That will supply block Galaxy momentarily, but he should be pretty much okay now. No other Overlords on the field, but of course that gets rid of map vision. Two Spores coming down at the third, and just some drones getting picked up. There are two Queens there, and they're going to be irritating, but of course every drone you pick off here is just very nice. It takes up APM of the Zerg player trying to deal with it. A Spore at the main and natural as well, so this is all going to be pretty nicely defended, but there are four Phoenix now, so if this Queen were to stumble out to try and follow them, obviously it could get lifted, and that would be very unfun times. Now, those Overlords are trying to defend themselves, but there's a Spore, so a couple of drones getting picked off nearly instantly. Great use of using the shields here to not take any structural damage to these Phoenix, and well, these Overlords, they're going down really quickly, and of course at 100 minerals a pop plus a lava, that can actually be quite significant, and essentially you've got Ace following this up with, well, a robotics base, so Colossi are going to be coming out. Where even is that robotics facility? There we go, right at the back there. So the robotics facility out, Colossi are going to be coming out very soon. We've got a macro hatch on its way out. These Phoenix still being insanely irritating. I mean, they've already taken out 8 workers, and I mean, if we look at the lost tab, 1,025 resources lost so far from the Zerg player, which is more than paid for these Phoenix, so that is absolutely fine. It was a good opening by Ace. He's doing a good amount of harassment. He may not be harming the economy that badly. I mean, we've already got Galaxy up to those 70 drones, but he does need to be a little bit careful with losing the Overlords, because they are quite expensive early on, and obviously they take up lava, which is the key thing. But we do have 17 roaches coming in from this, as well as a couple of Zerglings, Tunneling Claws on the way, Burrow on the way. We've also got Drop Tech coming down for our Zerg player here, and well, these Zealots, they're going to get cleaned up very easily by the roaches, especially when that +1 missile attack comes out. But behind this, Ace securing his third base, he's going to have those Colossi up very shortly. You need to get about 3 to 4 before they become potent against roaches, but for the moment it looks like Ace could have a little bit of problems on his hands, because this push, while not massive, is quite a lot for this force to deal with, and it may actually cause a cancel on the third. Going to take out these back rocks, and I'm really interested to see how Galaxy uses this Drop Tech as well as Burrow and Tunneling Claws, but it could be super cool. We've got a drone coming out now, so clearly we've got Galaxy trying to secure a 4th base behind this, going for this center expansion, which, as I said, it can be quite interesting, because especially with Colossi, they can just sit on the top there and deal a lot of damage. Some great lifts picking up half of these roaches, and they're going to get picked up for free. Not even any shots coming out of them, and obviously that's great for Ace. It's completely cost effective. I mean, if we look at this, so many more resources lost for Galaxy compared to Ace right now, and that's only going to help him going into the later game. Engaging that cost effectively is only going to be good. He's not losing any of his army. He can macro up very happily. Extended Thermal Lance has now just finished. That's a key upgrade. Obviously means that Colossi now outrange spines, and well, the spires coming out, that's for the Colossi. And again, these roaches, they're going to go down pretty quick. There is Tunneling Claws, but of course the Observer is there already, and now they're getting picked up. And again, this is just 3 units for Ace right now, but of course Galaxy, he's getting his supply up. If that spire finishes before a push comes from Ace, obviously there will be those Corruptors out ready to deal with Colossi. 4 spines coming down, as well as a Spore here for Galaxy, so he's going to be in a good spot to defend. His fourth base, though, is going to be so vulnerable. A Colossi can literally come up here, melt the entire mineral line, and even attack the hatchery without taking any damage itself. And Galaxy just very, very carefully coming around. He's actually gearing up for a drop here, burrowed all of those roaches. He's going to drop straight into the main. This could be so, so good, but there isn't any overlord. Overlord speed has just finished, so he's got the drop tech, he's got more roaches gearing up. This is a defensive position. That Spire is nearly done, and well, this drop is ready, and there's going to be no clue from Ace at all that it's coming out. Where even is all of his army? Well, it's moving back. I mean, I don't think he's seen this in the slightest, but he's just gearing up by his natural, and Sunny's going to have a lot of units in his main, and I mean, if that robotics bay goes down, that is going to be a big problem, but already it's been spotted, and here comes everything back. But this is going to be an awesome multi-prong attack coming down here from Galaxy. He's coming in and attacking the third, so the third's going to go down at the same time. But well, there's units coming back, and suddenly Ace is having to split his forces, ready to try and deal with absolutely everything, and that is never a fun way. The mineral line getting absolutely decimated in the main. Meanwhile, at the third, we've got great force fields coming down here from Ace in the moment, really cutting off this force, but of course, the roach is still able to attack the mineral line, and well, this is suddenly causing problems for Ace. I mean, the main, it still hasn't been cleaned up. More reinforcements getting warped in. The observer is there, so the burrow not even going to be effective right now. No key tech structures were taken out. Muters are following this up though, so not even corruptors. This is just a pure harassment build out of Galaxy, and Ace is dealing with it well in terms of actually closing it down, and he's going to get an awful lot of overlord kills here if he's sensible. But I mean, in terms of workers lost, 26 already down, that takes to 43 to 78, so nearly half the economy there for Ace compared to Galaxy, which is never fun. But he's getting so many overlord kills here, it's not even fun. And well, this is just absolutely good for Ace. I mean, he's dealing probably about 1,000 minerals worth of damage here, as well as having to forcing Galaxy to reproduce these overlords. And while he wasn't supply blocked at all, it's just because he had to get so many additional overlords. We've got more muters on the way out, and what is the mutant number even at now? 13, 14 muters with 2 more on the way, plus 1 coming out, and these are going to be able to do even more harassment damage, especially because there's no cannons around anywhere. The Phoenix are really the best counter that Protoss players do have to muters, but again, if those muters are able to pin the Phoenix back or get them in a corner so they can engage, Phoenix die very, very quickly. So it's all about micro on Ace's part. Meanwhile, we've got a second macro hatch coming down. That fourth base is up and running, a fifth base on its way as well, and now the muters, they're gearing up, ready to engage. I believe they were spotted then by the Phoenix, and we just got a small roach force here. The defensive position for the natural and third is absolutely huge though. The muters actually choosing to pull back still at the moment. A couple of rotors and zerglings just watching, see if there's a move out. Zenith's speed is on its way, charge as well, and the +3 ground weapons and the +1 ground armor done for Protoss. Meanwhile, upgrades for the Zerg player. No carapace upgrades, and it is going to be +1 missile attack, so a definite upgrade advantage there for Ace. But again, this is a very harassment based force, a nearly maxed out Zerg army. Those roaches are getting cleaned out, but the main base is suddenly looking a little bit vulnerable. That forge is going to get taken down. There is no wall off there, so a stream of Zerglings come in, and that is a lot of units. Those immortals getting taken down very, very quickly, and while the Zerglings will get completely shredded by the Colossi, if they can't get in, that causes problems. And just look at the mineral damage being done here. So many workers getting taken out. The Templar Archive spotted as well, so he knows High Templar on the way, which are a great way to deal with muters. And this is just a great little movement going straight down into the third, picking off more and more probes. There's 2 cannons there, but they're not going to be able to do too much damage to these muters, especially not before more probes. 43 probes taken out in that attack. That again stunts Ace back down to that 40 worker total compared to 74 of Galaxy. And well, Galaxy is in an amazing spot. He's just going to keep harassing. The Phoenix are going to try and wander around. There's a cannon now in the main. The natural doesn't have a cannon yet, but lots of stalkers out there. A baneling nest coming out, and I have to say, I feel like Galaxy's ahead at the moment. The Colossi cannon is going to be the big issue, but again, that's only up at 2, so needs to get a lot more Colossi out if he's going to deal the splash deal with those lings. And well, we've got these muters doing absolutely huge damage, vaporizing those cannons. How many muters are? 34 muters is absolutely huge. The Phoenix even getting taken out there, and the Stalker's trying to move forward, but again, those Stalkers don't really want to engage head on with muters. You need a really high number of Stalkers to cost effectively engage mutalisks, especially when that +2 kicks in. The +1 is obviously the critical air upgrade for muters, because it means splash damage, or each bounce attack does 2 damage rather than 1, and any subsequent upgrade doesn't actually improve that at all. The other Phoenix has spotted this 5th base out of the Zerg players. So it's now 5 base Zerg against a 3 base Protoss. The Archons, though, they're going to be absolutely critical. They do massive splash to air, and Mutas have a big tendency of grouping up. So if they do get some big hits like there, that Mutaforce could completely melt. But we've got 20 Banelings coming in, Baneling speed on the way, +1 melee attack, the Infestation Pit finally coming out 20 minutes. So Stalkers get a good blink forward, will pick off a couple of Mutas. The Muta number's still up at 35 though, and look at how quickly those Phoenix just vaporize there, and suddenly Ace is in a position now where he's having to stay right back into play defensive. He's having to defend his main, natural and third from a variety of assaults. He's got the ground assault, the air assault. What do you do? Which path do you take? Who knows? And behind this, Galaxy, well, he's taking his, what's that, 6th and 7th base, and this is just really becoming really one-sided. Ace is nearly maxed out though, and of course a maxed out Protoss can be very difficult to deal with. The Archons are going to be the big threat to these Mutas, and Ace temporarily supply blocked there by some pylons coming down, and essentially if I was in Ace's position I'd be tempted just to go and kill the Zerg. It's really the best solution to Muta type play, especially a big commitment. Mutas are not good in head-up engagements, but once these pathogen glands hit and the infestors start coming up, that's going to help massively. And the Banelings all detonate on the Archons. That is not the best way to go about it, but they do manage to get through and kill a lot of sentries. That will help massively for the Zerglings, but of course these two Colossi, they're going to be the big threat. Meanwhile, we've got Zergling run-bys coming through. Where are all the Mutas? That is what I'm wondering, but this 4th base, that's going to go down very quickly. The Mutas, I actually have no clue where they have all gone, but there are some Mutas somewhere here for the Zerg player, I know. Exactly where though, they are just trashing now the main base. They picked off most of the pylons, and suddenly all of the production, look at all these gateways unpowered. That is so much production lacking there for Ace, and all Galaxy really has to do now is if he can crush this pusher. We find the Mutas going straight for the Colossi, which is obviously essential, and well, the reinforcements come in, but a massive stack there. The Archons doing huge damage, but now those Archons have gone down, I feel like Galaxy's got this in the bag. The Colossi, they're going down nearly instantaneously, and now those Zerglings are going to be so effective, because without the Colossi doing the splash, there is no effective way for Ace to deal with those. And while we will see the Galaxy lost his 4th, he still has his 5th, 6th and 7th base up now. He's got so many hatcheries, he's got so much production, he's got Hive on the way, and I do believe he's now got, well, 43 Mutalisks, which can head-on engage all of this. There are some Archons morphing, and they're the only real threat, but look at just these cannons vaporizing it instantly. Doesn't want to stack those Mutas, because if they do get hit by the Archons, it would do absolutely insane amounts of damage. And well, we've got some changelings just dropping down to get scouting information, but they'll probably get taken out very quickly. And now we've got Ace really again against the ropes. He's mined out at his natural, his main's nearly mined out, so effectively he's on one mining base to, well, Galaxy, who is mined out at his main and natural, but he's got the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th and the 6th possible mining base. And well, it looks like Ace is going for a last ditch attempt, but with only 3 Archons as his main, well, 5 Archons now, he will be able to deal quite effectively with the Mutalisks. But to be honest, it just looks like Galaxy's just going to completely trash everything in the meantime and rely on these spine crawlers to defend. And of course this many spines are actually very effective, especially without Colossi there. These Stalkers have to engage head on, and while it will get taken out quite quickly, it's buying time for those Infestors to come out. And to be honest, it doesn't actually even look like Galaxy is going to try and defend this. He's just going to claim base race. He knows it's going to take Ace quite a while to get through, and just look at how quickly these Mutas engage. Well, they're +2, they're about to get +1 flyer carapace. All these gateways getting taken out, and really it's just a case of trashing all of this and this final base. But the photon cannons are coming down there for Ace. Galaxy, he's in an amazing spot right now. The Infestors are out, some fungal growth do go down, and now the main base production is being taken out. The Mutas are coming back, and to be honest, I do believe that 39 Mutas can easily challenge these Stalkers, especially as the Stalkers are on very low health. These Archons are the only real threat. If they get some good hits up on clustered up Mutas, it could be a problem. And just like that, just look at how much damage those Archons suddenly doing there. You can't really see too much. It's all getting pretty crazy, so hide the health bars momentarily, but this is all going to go very easily in Galaxy's favour. And he has now cleaned it up. Ace is pretty much out, and I expect a GG any second, but this is amazing Muta play. There goes the GG. So that was game 2. So that's leveled the series up 1 apiece. So tune in for game 3. I'll put a link to it on the annotations. Of course, thumbs up this video if you liked it, subscribe, that'd be awesome. New top end games coming up every single day, so check back daily. Thank you very much for watching, and see you at game 3. Bye for now.